Hi guys, it is time for another Coffee at Luke's. Let's talk about season 1, episode 3, Kill Me Now. All right, guys. Let's talk about let's talk Gilmore Girls, guys. Let's talk about episode 3, Kill Me Now. As always, I have my notes. I have the Bible, you guys know, the Gilmore Girls companion, and I have the cookbook that I will show you guys, as there is a recipe that I have made and I will insert pictures of. But let's just dive right into the episode. You guys know I like to start with the Netflix synopsis. When Richard and Rory bond during golf at the club, Lorelai feels jealous of Rory's deepening connection with her grandparents. That is totally true. You can totally see Lorelai resenting her parents a little bit, and definitely not understanding Rory's wanting a connection with them whatsoever. I do. So this first aired October 19th of 2000. It was written by Joanne Waters, so not Amy Sherman Palladino this time. And it was directed by Adam Nimoy, who is actually the son of Leonard Nimoy, the late actor from the Star Trek series. So I always like to give the rather lengthy synopsis from the Bible that we go through here. So it says, forced to choose a sport at Chilton, Rory, urged by Emily, picks golf, which Richard reluctantly teaches her at Emily's insistence. Richard and Rory bond over country club life in H.L. Mencken. I did not know who Mencken was. I had to Google him. Seeing the strange relationship between a mother and her twin brides getting married at the Independence Inn reminds Lorelai of the special relationship she has with her own daughter. As Emily points out, Lorelai is indeed afraid that Rory will fail to see her grandparents in the same poor light that Lorelai herself always has. Totally true. I think they definitely hit a lot of points right on, and we will definitely dive into those as we get going. But let's talk about the opening right there. This is going to start our maid count, really get it going. In the first episode, we talked about how I'm going to keep track of how many maids she has and reference. And you guys, I have on the Facebook at Coffee at Luke's, I have made documents of the maid counts, of Kirk and his jobs, I've made one about all the pop culture references. So any books, any movies that I come across, I'm going to be putting them in there so you guys can keep track and have all that right at the ready. So it's kind of cool to be building that as we're going. But maid count, this is our second maid that we see on screen. Emily thinks her name is Mira. Of course, her name is Sarah, and that we find out. But then she also references 4 other maids that she has had. So that's going to bring our count to 6. But the other ones she referenced were Heidi, Trina, Sophia, and Anton. So we're going to bring our count up to 6 because those 4, the first one from episode 1 and now this one here. So we're up to 6 already, and this is episode 3. Okay, Lorelai's, they talk about Lorelai the First, who was Richard's mother. And it makes it sound like she was dead because they keep saying the word was. And I'm going to read something from the Bible that I wrote down from the Gilmore Girls companion. So it says, last episode we had the first big Gilmore inconsistency with Lane referring to 2 of her parents. She always talks about her parents. But this episode, and after that, we only ever see Mrs. Kim, and her father's never referenced again. So that's why it's a big inconsistency. But this episode, it's Richard's waxing nostalgic about his late mother. Though if we read it another way, it could just be merely he was saying she was great in her day. So there, but they do say the word was and all that kind of stuff. So that makes you think that she is dead. At least that's how I took it. We also get the beginning of the long-running joke of Emily can't keep a maid, yet why we are starting with the maid count and being able to count those as we go forward. I love this line by Emily as they're sitting down. It says, "How is that charming little inn of yours?" Lorelai says, "Well, it's still charming and little, and we just cross our fingers that it doesn't insert itself and become rude and large." I just think, like I said, I just love some of these lines in this show. It makes me smile and laugh. I love them. My question is, when did golf become a team sport? Rory says she has to play a team sport, and golf is one of her options. To me, golf, you always play it by yourself. You're not really on a team. She does this basketball and all these other ones, but tennis, and then she throws out golf. To me, golf is definitely not a team sport, but obviously you can see Emily pushes Richard to teach Rory how to play golf. He does not want to at all, but Rory, or Emily, whatever Emily wants, Emily gets for sure. And Emily says, "You can use your mother's old golf clubs. They are upstairs gathering dust with the rest of her potential." You could. That is totally. I mean, these underlining digs at each other are just. They obviously do not have the best relationship, and it makes me so sad. That's not always the case, but it really is sad, all the different digs that they play at each other. But obviously you can see Rory doesn't want to go, and Lorelai really doesn't want her to go. I think it takes Rory getting, she's kind of pushed into it, but once she's in there, you can definitely see that she warms up to the idea, and Lorelai never does. But I do agree that Lorelai should let Rory decide if she wanted to do it. Lorelai definitely likes to push her opinions on people, and Rory's one of them that you'll see later on always likes to make her own choices. So, she made the choice that she did want to do it just for her grandfather. She wanted to appease her grandmother, and she does a lot of her decisions that way that end up becoming good decisions. Okay. I love when Lorelai's listing all the things she would rather do than go to the club with Rory. So we have stick something sharp in her ear, slide down a banister of razor blades and land in a pool of alcohol, eat her own hand, get her face surgically altered to look like that lunatic rich lady with the lion head. I have no idea who that is, by the way. Or cut off her head to use as a punch bowl. Very funny, obviously very dramatic, showing she really doesn't want to go to this club in case you had any reservations about that. And then we have the twin bitch brides. I'm sorry, they are twin bitches. If I was that mother, I would have just cut them off and said, "Do your own damn wedding." I could put up with that. And as you can see, the mother's very close to doing that. Very, very close. The disaster list. That was amazing. I wish I could come up with stuff. Obviously, these were written for her, and I get that. It's a script she's reading. But you're supposed to think that Lorelai is just so quick-witted and could come up with these things. And the disaster list was, what if it rains? We'll put tents up. What if it's too windy? We'll secure everything and put extra hairspray in everyone's hair. What if it's too hot? We'll use umbrellas and fans that won't cause any damage because of the things that have been secured and the hair that has been sprayed. I mean, that's gold. I love that. The pacing of that was just amazing, too. I thought that was great. And if you she says that she will send the masseuse up to her in just a few minutes. So when Lorelai gets back to the inn, she says, if you notice, she goes, "Send Rory up to room 12 or whatever." So Rory is the name of the masseuse as well. I think that might have been a mistake. I don't think it was supposed to be Rory because I think everyone would have been too confused. So, but I always have my closed captions on so I can write everything down because I was like, did she just say Rory? So I rewound it and she did say Rory. Twins marrying twins is just crazy. I know what happens, but I do agree it's a little weird. Next thing, we have Rory arriving at her grandparents' house, and she is given the ugly hat. There is no way around it, guys. That hat is ugly. I'm sorry. It's ugly. Walking through the grounds. It says, "What do you know about golf?" She goes, "It's a good walk wasted." I love that. No, if you either love golf or you hate golf. So obviously that's what they were comparing it to. You know, we have the one that loves it and the one that just thinks it's useless and doesn't understand it. And then we come to Jackson and Suki, and Jackson not having strawberries, and she needs it for strawberry shortcake, and she has to make blueberry shortcake. Which brings me to the recipe in the cookbook. Here you see blueberry shortcake is the recipe. It says Gilmore gave us great lessons on making the most with what you have. This dessert is prime example. When Suki is left in the lurch, unable to get strawberries to make strawberry shortcake, she thinks of a creative solution, blueberry shortcake. The next time you think up an ingenious solution to a problem, make this for yourself to celebrate. Then take the rest of it to work or a friends gathering. It's so delicious, no one's going to care that it's used, which we will talk about the used part of it in a second. So I did make this. I will insert pictures. This was kind of complicated. I will say I was not prepared because not only did you make the blueberry filling, which was amazing, you had to make homemade lemon curd. I guess I didn't understand that. So the way it works is, and I put pictures in here for you. You make your shortcake, and then you slice those in half, and you open them up like a sandwich. You put a little lemon curd at the bottom, and then you put your blueberries, and then you put your fresh homemade whipped cream, put the cap of the shortcake on, and then a little bit more of the whipped cream on top. There's lemon zest and lemon juice in the blueberries, obviously the lemon curd, and they also have lemon in the shortcake itself. You guys, this recipe was amazing. I'm going to show you the picture here from the book. That's how they have it looked in here. I will insert my pictures, you guys. It was amazing. Obviously, my artistry is not as good as hers, but it tasted incredible, and I loved it. Michelle put the post-it note on the back of one of the grooms to tell them apart. That's genius. I loved that idea. Then we have Rory and her grandfather talking about her plans to backpack through Europe and do the whole hostel thing. That does come up. That's what I love about this is they always go back and reference anything that was referenced is almost always called upon again in this series, and I think that is genius. That's the art of storytelling. That, I mean, everything is for a purpose, and you get that. I love that. The word odious. There's one woman in here that is described as being the most odious woman alive. I had to look up odious. I did not know what it meant. It meant extremely unpleasant or repulsive. There is more than one person that thinks this woman is odious, and I just found that very, very, very weird. We have the scenes in the sauna. I will throw out this teaser. This is not the last time we see a scene with older gentlemen in a sauna. I'm just throwing it out there to you guys. Now we go back to the inn, and we have raised Kirk's job count to 2 now. He is the swan delivery man. I love this. It says, Michelle was attacked by a band of swans in the Luxembourg Gardens when he was a boy. So random. But I will say, yet again, this is not the only reference of seeing swans or being attacked by swans. Some of this stuff, I mean, that's the genius of ASP. That is just the genius of her, and I love that. Then we have Drella and her classic line of, can't stand the talk, love to watch the walk. So obviously she cannot stand Michelle and his annoying voice, but boy does she love to look at his back end as he's walking away. That just cracks me up. Then we have, I love the scene of Rory just gossiping with her grandfather at the lunch table, talking about people. It's just, I don't know, you always think of Richard as this stuffy businessman and being, just, to me, he's like just this laid back kind of guy that could be the every guy, and I love that. Lorelai meets Rory for dinner at Luke's. You can obviously tell she is generally hurt that Rory had fun and that she liked going to the club. You can honestly see it all over Lorelai's face. She did not expect that. Like she said, she kept expecting a call to have Rory call her and, you know, do this SOS or come save me thing, and it never happened. She enjoyed herself. Um, Anytime Miss Patty is on the screen, obviously is legendary. Watching her teach the twin bride and twin grooms how to dance is incredible. I love her. She just screams sex appeal, and her little one-liners are amazing. Um, I put when Richard calls Lorelai at the inn and asks to speak to Rory, you can tell that Lorelai cannot believe it and that Rory is not supposed to be part of that world, and she is. You could just tell. She's like, what are you doing? You're not supposed to like that. You're supposed to like me and everything I like, and that's not always how it goes. And I thought that was great. And then we come to when they're sitting on the porch, and first we have Babette comes up and wants to borrow vegetable oil and shoehorn to get her cat unstuck from the front porch. So random. So love Babette. As I've said, you guys, Babette is great. I just love her. And the shoehorn and the, you know, vegetable oil. Of course, the cat gets out. You hear this big meow off in the background, and it's the cat getting its old self unstuck. And I just thought that was amazing. But then we come to the big one, okay? That's when we have Rory, who does... Lorelai says that she could get them out of Friday night dinner because we'll count the golfing as, you know, the part for the week that we don't need to see them again. And Rory wants to go to Friday night dinner. You can tell she genuinely wants to. And you guys, I had to write all this down. It just cracked me up. But the argument that Lorelai literally makes out of nothing to just pick a fight with Rory is amazing. So it starts out, Lorelai saying, "Is that my sweater?" Rory says, "What? You're wearing my sweater." "So?" "No, it's okay. I just thought, you know, you could at least ask before you take my stuff." "I'm sorry. It's okay. It's just," or says, "It's okay. It's just not much for a simple, 'Hey, Mom, can I borrow it?'" "No, it's not. Geez, lighten up." "It's my favorite sweater." "Since when?" "Since always. This is not your favorite sweater." "Yes, it is, and now it's going to be all stretched out just like everything else you borrow." "What are you talking about?" "I'm talking about how you take my sweaters and wear them and stretch them out." Rory says, "I couldn't possibly stretch them out. Your boobs are way bigger than mine." Lorelai said, "That is not true." Rory, "Yes, it is." Lorelai, "Your boobs are totally bigger than mine." And Rory, "What else can you say about that?" She says, "You're crazy." "Do you want to measure?" "What?" "I'm serious. Get the measuring tape right now. I'm not going to measure my boobs because you know that you're totally bigger." "I'm going inside." She goes, "Fine. Don't measure. We'll just compare bras." Rory's like, "Stop it." Lorelai says, "I'll stop it when you quit stealing my stuff." Rory, "You're cracked." And Lorelai's classic response is, "Well, you're bigger." Really, really. I love this argument. It is, how many times have you guys fought about something so stupid as these guys? You know, you're so mad. You want to just tell this person off, but you make up the most stupidest fight. We've all done it. If you're married, you've probably done it tons of times. Or if you have a teenage daughter, I'm sure you've done it. So I just think that was great. And I love that Suki calls out Rory, or calls out Lorelai for being jealous. I think that was great and totally what a best friend should do. And then when Suki finds the strawberries, you notice she spots these things from across the room or across the street. She runs over to these and she's just like, "Oh, you babies, I love you, I love you." And she's going to buy all these strawberries that she needs. And who should appear but Jackson? So obviously them running and Suki running after Jackson, you know, it's just amazing. No strawberries obviously are bought, which is why we have the blueberry shortcake. But I just love that, and how Jackson would be so jealous that Suki would buy someone else's strawberries. I just love it. Finally, towards the end, we do see Lorelai apologize to Rory at the wedding. and they make up, and all is well between the girls, as it should be. And then we get Lorelai and Rory going to their Friday night dinner. And when Lorelai does the unthinkable and brings leftover blueberry shortcake over to Emily's for Friday night dinner. And as Emily calls it, it's used dessert. Really? I love that. I just think it's great. And then, of course, Emily has to rub it into Lorelai about how much fun Rory had at the club. Classic Emily, that's what she does. You know, very strong women, they like to be right. They're going to rub it into each other. That's just what they do. But at the end of the episode is what gets me. So at the end of the episode, while Emily, Richard, and Rory go off to look at this book, Lorelai is just left sitting on the couch all by herself, feeling so left out of this world. And that is honestly how it is. I love that scene. Just spoke volumes of the whole rest of the series to me and how it's going to play out. And I just thought it was great. The few notes from the Bible that I have here is, this one's actually like a behind the scenes. It says, Lauren would touch Alexis to not only show affection, but to also help get Alexis to her marks, because this was literally Alexis's first job. She had never filmed anything before. She didn't know you had to hit certain marks so the camera would have you in frame. And so you'll see Lauren grab Alexis or kind of put her arm around her and lead her around. It's because she's leading her to her marks. Not only does it show the closeness that these girls have, but there's a backstage kind of secret, and I just thought that was totally cool and totally neat. And then the other tip we learned is Richard is the executive vice president of the Gurman Driscoll Insurance Corp, in charge of its international division. I still don't know what the heck that means. I get that he sells insurance, but that's literally all I know. So there you go. That's, those are the notes that I took for episode 3. You guys, like I said, we're just getting started on this journey. I would love for you to follow along. Subscribe to this channel. I will be posting the episode reviews every Thursday, and then I will occasionally throw in bonus episodes throughout. But every Thursday, come back, grab your coffee, come talk Gilmore Girls. Like I said, let's get a discussion going in the description or in the comments. I would love that. Like I said, do you know any tips? What's your favorite scene, favorite character? Let's talk about it all. Let's throw it all out there and get a conversation going and just throw ourselves into Stars Hollow. So next time, like I said, grab a cup of coffee and meet me at Luke's. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.